Hello my friends, it's Tom with Weapons Education, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. This is going to be one exciting video. As always, I appreciate when you thumb up the video. It makes me feel good. We're all in this together. We're all American patriots. We're going to talk about four gigantic handguns, and we're going to talk about why you need it and how to carry it. I'm going to show you a bunch of different leather options. We're going to talk about the 44 revolver Magnum. In this case, we're looking at right now the 50AE semi-automatic gigantic handgun. We're going to also look at the 454 Casull revolver, gigantic, and of course the 500 Magnum gigantic revolver. And here is the ammo as we start out from left to right. You're looking at the 44 Magnum, so you can see the size difference. Then you're looking at the 50AE, then the 454, and the 500 Magnum on the right. I've got all the guns here. I've got a bunch of ways to carry them, and we're going to have some fun. You're going to learn in this video, so please thumb it up, share it, subscribe if you're new to the channel. This is an excellent audience, and I appreciate all of you. So let's get on with it. We're going to start with looking at a Smith Wesson revolver 44 Magnum, and I'm going to show you how I carry it and the reasons why you want each one of these gigantic handguns and which one might be best for you. Let's get into it right now. Okay, in this section here, I want to talk about the 44 Magnum, and the one in my collection that I favor the most happens to be this one. That's why I have it out, obviously. It is the 629 Snubby from the Performance Center. Now, this is not going to be a gun review. We're going to talk about these big pistols here and why you need them. But this is from the Performance Center. My friend Josh is here. Please zoom in. And Performance Center. Here's a tip. If you can get any tips out of my videos, I mean, that's why you watch. If you're going to buy a Smith Wesson, any Smith Wesson, my recommendation is get a Performance Center. And the reason for that is, and I know it firsthand, because not only do I know the man who runs the whole division of the Performance Center, but I've also used their warranty, which is for life, no matter who owns their product. So the Performance Center is made of higher quality materials, and also it's got that lifetime warranty that I tell you, no questions asked. They pay your postage, this, that, and the other, and you get it back perfect. So this is a 629. Now let's talk about the 44 Magnum ballistics. And I'm going to tell you how I carry this in a moment. The 44 Magnum with double tap ammunition, okay? Double tap, 300 grain. Josh, please zoom in here. Hollow point, 1,300 feet per second. Now that's fast. That's out of a 7.5-inch barrel, not out of a snubby, but it won't be too much of a difference, a little bit. But a large 300 grain, you know, those big 45s are the biggest ones, you know, pretty much the 230 grains. This is 300 grains moving at 1,300 feet per second with a lot of energy out of the 44 Magnum. So why would you want to have a 44 Magnum? Well, first of all, you know, of course, at one time it was the most powerful handgun made. We know, famous from Clint Eastwood. But also the recoil on this gun is so, you always close it with the crane, by the way. You see how I did that? This is called a crane. Okay, a little tidbit. You close it like that. You don't smash it with the cylinder or spin it and clash it and injure it. And you don't do that. You just like that. Close it and click. But you know, Clint Eastwood made it famous as the most powerful handgun, and of course it was overtaken by the 500 Magnum. And we're going to look at a 454 Casull here in a moment. But and then I'm going to give you my answers, what my favorite big giant pistol is here in a moment. And how do I carry this? first of all, I like snubbies because I'm not a hunter, so I use them for personal protection. And this is how I carry it. My leather factory that I have, I designed this, and it's been one of our top sellers. I only did one video on it. This is the second veiling of it, of this type of carrying of a small revolver. You can put any type of semi-automatic or anything you want in your pocket. And this is an 8-year-old holster, and we've really evolved a lot, as you'll see here in a moment, on some new leather that I'm about to show you. But what I do is I take the revolver, I'm right-handed, and I put it in my right front pocket, just like that, and it's ready to go. And it's easy to conceal with any button-up shirt. And it doesn't go into your intestinal area and infringe on your comfort, and it does not print at all. So the 44 Magnum, of course we know the ballistics are extremely terminal to a bad guy. Now let's go up to a more powerful round, and I'll surprise you with that right now. Let's go up to another powerful one right now. The Ruger Super Red Hawk Alaskan 454 Casull. This is a must-have for all of you hunters and those of you who want self-protection. That's why I got this in a snubby, because I carry it the same way I just showed you the 44 Magnum, in a right front, because I'm a righty, pocket holster. I'm going to show you some leather that's going to blow your mind here in a moment. But let's talk about the 454, because it's a great option for you to get a revolver that maybe you were not thinking of. First of all, the Ruger, this Ruger here, please zoom in here, Josh. Ruger Super Red Hawk Alaskan. It also shoots the 45 long Colt. And I've done a lot of videos on these guns individually, so you can just Google Ruger Super Red Hawk Alaskan weapons education and get the complete broken down detailed review of the gun. But what's really cool, one of the things that is really nice about this is it's got 3 locking mechanisms for the cylinder. For instance, if you zoom in here, Josh, you see that right there? And as this cylinder spins, you see these notches? So that's one, okay? That right there, when I close the cylinder, that goes into these notches, and that locks it one way. The next way to lock it, like most revolvers, is right here, and it goes right there. So when it closes, that'll lock it. That's 2, because this is tight as a clam, this cylinder, and it's a super high quality. It's a super high quality revolver. I love this thing. And the third way, and you have to look real close, and this is a safety check revolver, as we can see, and I'm not pointing it at Josh in by no way, shape, or form, but you see that right there? That locks when it closes there in the front. So there's 3 ways this cylinder locks. We like to learn about revolvers and any type of potential gun we might own, and that's something interesting. The speed on this and the power, this ammo is really old, and feet per second, 1,625 feet per second. That's fast, especially when you're pushing 300 grains. The energy, 1,750 plus foot-pounds of energy. That's a lot of punching, knock power, hard-hitting power. That's why hunters like this. So the way I carry this is the same way, like I mentioned earlier, is the 44 Magnum in my right front pocket. I tell you, people have body armor these days, and there's a lot of different threats that we're up against now that we were not up against in the past. I'm not going to justify why I want to carry a high-powered revolver It's my own personal choice as an American. If I want to carry a high-powered revolver, I'll get the snubby and carry it for self-defense. If I want to do it for hunting, I'll get a long barrel, and we're gonna talk about that here in a moment. I'm going to show you some really cool holsters to carry a long barrel. Let's do that right now. Let's do that next. Let me show you some really cool holsters on how to carry a long barrel revolver for hunting. Super high powerful revolvers. Let me show you this holster I designed. I wanted to bring up the 460 Smith Wesson in this video because I do make a custom shoulder rig for it. This one is for hunting. I have this 460. It's at a different location, and it's an 8-inch barrel, and it's got a special optic here. So we really had to do a lot of work to make this shoulder holster, but it's trick. I decided to go with individual stitch rounds, but of course, if I want, I can always carry with me speed loaders for the 460 also. And you see how nice that brass looks. It's super high-end hardware. You're going to want to go with the brass and the synthetic stitch. But let me move on here now and show you the 500 Magnum, and let's talk about that and ballistics and things like that. The 500 Magnum. I really give Smith & Wesson a lot of credit for making this revolver. It is one tank. And what I'll say is, this is from the Performance Center. Another reason why to buy from the Performance Center, besides the warranty, is because sometimes they'll stop making a specific product and that product goes up in value. For instance, this is the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum ES, Emergency Survival. And the kit I have is sitting right over there, the orange kit. And it went way, way, way up in value. I've sent this back to Smith. They've refurbished it for me. They polished it up. They did a lot to it. They put a new yoke into it. Great company. So why would you want a 500 Magnum? Well, first of all, talking about recoil now, this is me, Tom. I'm a pretty big, strong guy. Strong like bull, my grandfather said, having some fun here. But I tell you, this will bring every nerve in my body, I tell you, and wake me up, because this has a lot of recoil, and so does the 454. So this is great for hunting. I like my snub noses. I got that big 460, but I like my snubbies, and I'm going to show you how I carry this. First, let's talk about the velocity of this core bond. And those of you guys who are into ballistics and ammunition, who remembers this box? Who remembers the JSP, the jacketed suck point, okay? And this 400 grain massive bullet is buzzing at 1,675 feet per second and very close to 2,500 foot-pounds out of the muzzle. Oh my gosh. Now when you shoot a 500 Magnum, and you've seen me shoot this gun at least a dozen times on the channel, if you haven't, just search 500 Magnum weapons education. You'll get a kick out of watching me shoot this. Because I like to shoot, it's so expensive. I like to shoot just like 2 or 3 rounds at the end of each range day, and it just obliterates me. It gets me so excited, and I really feel like I had a successful day when I finish up with the 500 Magnum. So you got to have one in your collection. You need one, and that's enough to justify having a 500 Magnum. So how do I carry it? Well, I have a shoulder holster for this, but I want to show you, I have a sidearm system for it, okay? And now, this is exactly for this gun, exactly, except we cut it with a buzzsaw recently, because about 1 out of every 100 holsters at random I'm going to pull for research and development. And I figure, well, since I have a cut one here, I can show my audience the quality of the leather. Now you see how thick it is, the leather? Please, Josh, zoom in really, no one else in the nation pays for leather like this. This is proof. This is cut right down. Normally the whole muzzle is covered. Normally the whole muzzle is covered on this. I would not want to carry my beautiful 500 ES with this sticking out, which is called bikini style. So normally it's covered, but I cut it for research and development to make sure that everything is held together well and it's exactly what I want. But take a look at that. This is called full grain leather, and not only that, it's called bridal leather. Not to get too complicated with leather, but that is the most expensive, highest quality leather you can buy in the nation, period. And it's on the inside, it's on the outside, and you squeeze it, it feels like it's polymer. So this, one way, like I said, I have a shoulder holster, and then I carry this with one that's not cut. And I got the speed loaders to carry on my righty. So on my left side, I decided I was going to put these speed loaders on a shoulder holster. I'm doing all this different stuff with leather all the time. But right now, I'm going to carry these on my waist with one of my belts here. I'll show you in a moment. And so with the speed loaders, these are 700 grain Underwoods. So we can make them for any speed loader you wish. But you got to call 954-804-4381 to get all these little details and questions in your mind spoken about with one of our professionals. So you call the store at 954-804-4381 to get the dream holster system that you want for your prize gun. I'm the only guy in the country that spends the kind of money on this leather, so I do take some time in my videos because I'm so proud of the leather. And people say, well, if it's too thick, it's gonna be too heavy. That's ridiculous. You want it to be this quality. You don't want thin little plastic garbage like some of the companies out there, Galco or these companies, these garbage. You throw in a box. My stuff you keep forever and hand down to your beneficiaries. All right, now with that said, why get a 500 Magnum? For big game hunting, for whatever you want, self-defense. And I tell you what, I carry this for funsies every now and then. And this is how I carry it, either with a shoulder holster that's not here or on my hip with these speed loaders. Now let me show you something while we're on a roll here. Let me show you the belt. This belt's been cut, another research and development. You see what's on the inside of my belts? No one else does this. Zoom in real close, please, Josh. My wife's sleeping. It's what time is it now? About midnight? What do you got? What time?
11:30.
Yeah. So thank you. We've been doing this since 1 in the afternoon, getting ready for this. So look at the inside of this belt. This costs money. This will not flip over, weeble, wobble, nothing like that. And that is why this is a finished product. It comes in all different colors, and you want to get the synthetic stitch, which you got to call the store and we have to work this out to see what you want. But this is a true gun belt. People who say they got a gun belt and it's not reinforced on the inside, well, they're just lying. It's not a true gun belt. I sell to law enforcement. It's 100 here, 300 there, and they buy it because, well, they get 3-inch thick. I recommend 1.5 inch always for civilians. 2.5 to 3 inch for law enforcement. It depends on what their department requires, but they like it. The law enforcement comes to me because they know they're getting something that's not going to flip-flop. They carry a lot of gear, a lot of heavy stuff. And you can see it here where it starts on the belt. So weaponseducationholsters.com. The link is right there below, weaponseducationholsters.com. So you need a 500 Magnum. You need a good belt. Now let me show you something real cool. Another big gigantic pistol. And that's going to be the 50AE. Let's do that right now. Well, let's talk about the 50AE. And they can pull this off in gold. This looks great in gold. My 50AE happens to be an older one, which I'm glad, from Magnum Research. You see it if you zoom in, Josh. Desert Eagle. But zoom in here. Israel Weapon Industries. Made in Israel. So this gun is really a prized possession of mine. And that's reason enough to own a 50AE. Also, well, first of all, the recoil to shoot this Magnum 50AE 300 grains. Zoom in down here, Josh. Look at that. 1,300 feet per second. 300 grains. Enough energy to take down T-Rex. Let's look at this gun again, and I'm going to bring this question up. Of all these big gigantic pistols I brought up today, which one do you think, if you don't own any of them, which one do you think you should buy first? I'm going to give you my answer in a moment. Now, how do I carry this? I'm having just fun with this video and trying to teach you a little bit too. The 50AE is a semi-automatic cannon. And now it's owned by Car Arms, and they make a quality 50AE. They bought Magnum Research. The way I carry it, now I made this for myself out of snakeskin. You get the idea. It's a shoulder holster of my leather quality. Gorgeous, just spectacular. I don't have to get into all that. This one's even basket weave if you zoom in real close. But talk to me about basket weave before you buy it, because it's good for some situations and then others I'll talk to you about, depending on what you're doing. But I'll tell you what really made this snakeskin holster take off is when the Colt Python came back out in production recently in the last couple of years prior to this video. This snakeskin is perfect for a Colt revolver Python. So I want to show you something real quick also. See how nice and tight this one. I chose to have two. You want the mags on my shoulder holsters to be horizontal, pointing towards your belly button, so you can grab them with the other hand easily. Okay, but this, I mean, you got to have a Desert Eagle in your collection. It's just awesome. And carry it for self-defense or big game hunting. I want to show you this real quick, since we're talking about holsters and leather. You know, when people get my leather, they get more excited about the leather than their own pistols, and they just keep buying holsters. This is a game changer here, and I just want to show you, if this is if you're a righty, this is a 1911, a Kimber, it's a Raptor, and if this is under your left arm, you're a righty. Look at that. Well, I'll flip that button there. Look at that. See that? Or you can keep that button and have the tension. I did a separate video on this, but see, it tilts towards your belly button, and then if you keep this tension strap buttoned up there, it'll snap back. It's up to you. That's a whole separate video, but I just want to let you know that this is available on my store, weaponseducationholsters.com, for anything. A lot of guys are getting their Desert Eagles in one of these tilt shoulder holsters. And you truckers and you guys who are on motorcycles and you want to make sure you can grab your weapon quickly, this is what you want. This is my design. A lot of steel is involved in this. You don't realize it. It's very, very strong and stable. And see, yeah, this one's got 3 magazines pointed towards the belly button. So, what is my answer? I'm going to show you my answer here right now. Of all these large weapons we just spoke about, I really think if you don't have any of them, start with this 44 Magnum. Of course, the 357 also was great, but this 44 from the Performance Center is really, it's a win-win situation. I can put any semi-automatic or revolver in your pocket. Don't forget about this. Inside the waistband stuff, I don't get. It hurts my skin. I don't like it. It's not comfortable sitting in a car. I have it all figured out. Just call the store, 954-804-4381, and get the monster gun that you want, and you can carry it comfortably. That's what this is all about. And have all the power you need. Whether you're hiking, the great outdoors, or you're in anywhere these days. My name is Tom. Take a look at this beauty one more time. That's one of my favorite revolvers made. The Smith Wesson 44 Magnum 629 from the Performance Center. Please subscribe. Please thumb up the video. Tell a friend. Tom, check it out. I care about all of you during these tough times. We're all American patriots. And at the end, I like to say, gosh, we're going through some tough times. And if we don't stay together right now, we're not going to be together. We have to pull together. We have to pray to God that this country gets saved and we'll be fine. And we have to pull together. You know what I'm talking about. Us patriots have to stay together. And I care about all of you. Spread the news about the channel. We have to stay strong now, my friends. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.